at least where you live?
Well, I don't want to get caught in the position of being an expert on community relationships. And I think it would be misleading, too, for anyone to assume that I come from a perfect community. I come from a community that is still somewhat a community because it still has some shared memory of its own past and some relationships that are now lifelong for some people. And it's by experiencing the life of that community to the extent that I have over virtually my whole life, and beyond that, trying to imagine what a community is that my work has come from.
Yeah. Well, I'm reminded of the story, the title story actually in the book Fidelity, where the son takes his dying father, disconnects him in the hospital, and removes his body, removes his father from the hospital and takes him home to die. And how later, when the authorities are trying to put this together as to what happened, the family lawyer, family friend, actually takes the role of the defender of the community as it against the authority of the institution.
Yes.
Maybe you could elaborate on what's going on there.
Well, that's the most made-up story in the book. There is, so far as I know, no such incident that story could have been based on. So it's, in a sense, a problem story. And the problem is, how would a community act if it were a real community, a community of people who were consciously and conscientiously functioning as members of the community or of one another? How would such a community act when confronted with such a problem? And the general concern of the story is the ancient one of love and law. And the detective in the story is a person who's trying very hard to live by law, not just the law in the formal legal sense, but also law in the form of social fashion and so on. He's trying to live up to an image he's imposing on himself from outside, and the people of the community are living out of affection. And the question, what should they do for one another insofar as they love one another? So the story goes somewhat beyond realism. I'm not simply trying to record how people usually act, but to answer this other question in some believable way.
Well, there were some interesting analogies and parallels drawn there. I recall a couple of them. One was where the detective had suggested perhaps that the son might have been acting out of greed, and then there was this exchange between the lawyer and the detective about how, really, who was really operating out of greed here? The hospital wanted to keep him connected up because they were making lots of money out of keeping him connected up in the hospital.
Yes.
That was just one analogy there that dealt with the medical technology that's taken over so much of our healthcare system and has in some ways removed life from the living.
Yes, Wheeler, the lawyer, in that story is by now an old man, and he's somewhat garrulous. One of his the functions of this long conversation that he conducts with the detective is to kill time, to gain time. But another is that he is interested in what he's saying himself, and another is this is a younger man, and Wheeler is interested in instructing him.